Hello guys, today is October 21st and we're going to talk about three things. First one is the Echo sell for $400 million. Cobie got a huge liquidation event, and that's amazing because all that liquidity going to hit the trenches in a way. Of course, it's not going to hit the memecoin trenches, but in general, crypto projects, we got a new investor basically. And the second topic is gold. The price is correcting. All of those images of people lining up to buy gold, the result is what we're witnessing now. It's correcting now. It was 4,300 and now it's 4,100. And the last one, we talk about BYND, the short squeeze, the meme token, and what is BYND and why it's even how it was short squeezed. And then we will trench a little bit. But first, let's look at general what's happening with crypto, with Fear and Greed Index is probably the first where we should start. We're sitting at 30. Last week, October 10th, I just published a video on how the biggest liquidation event happened and how is that even possible when the Bitcoin is at $110,000. Just a half a year ago, it was trading at 56, the lowest it went. And everyone became bearish at that point, and then it shot up from 56 to 100K. And now we're at 110. Everyone's supposed to be so positive, but we had this huge liquidation event, which is unbelievable. And right now, after the week after the liquidation, we went as low as 25 for Fear and Greed Index. And right now we're bouncing a little bit higher. But let's look at the price, what's actually happening with Bitcoin, and we're still in the range. That's what's surprising to me. That was another video that I published, is that there is such a negative sentiment in crypto, and I'll explain you why. But we are trading still above 100K. And if we just do a simple, remove this line, and just, we like to draw some lines on the charts, aren't we? We like this astronomy for men, right? And these are the levels. The previous resistance turned into the support, clear support line at 107. We pierced it through, but we still closed above it, and now we went back into the range, which is signs of strength. If we would stay below the previous support, that would be the weakness. That's when you go and you short. But we still went back into the range, and that's a huge support and strength signal in trading. At least look at all this volume that happened at this price level. Everyone was very negative, and we're still trending close to the support line, but as long as it's not below, we are fine. And you can actually, these are the moments when you're supposed to place some of the bets, when it's the scariest time to buy, because again, everyone is so pessimistic. And here's the reason why the Fear and Greed Index is so low compared to the price. It's because Fear and Greed Index is calculated based on all of the crypto traders. And crypto traders, they don't buy Bitcoin, they don't hold Bitcoin. Everyone is levering their positions all the way on 5, 10x, 100x on centralized exchanges. Now we have decentralized exchanges where you can have 40x leverage on Bitcoin. Everyone is trading altcoins. No one wants to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everyone wants to buy Sui, Aptos, Near protocol. And all of them, they are as low as it gets. They're at the absolute bottoms. Let's check Sui. What would be the good example of altcoin that's everyone? Eigen, right? Eigen is this technology for liquid staking. So you stake your Ethereum, you get your, when you stake your Ethereum in Lido or in Rocket Pool, you get your liquid staking tokens, and then you can take those tokens and restake them somewhere else. So you increase that percentage for staking. And Eigen is a technology that helps you to maximize the restaking. That's a very broad and high picture description of what Eigen does, but it basically capitalizes on this idea that you can restake your tokens in Ethereum. And look how low it's trading. Let's go to the weekly. It's basically all the way at the bottom. So we had this big green candle, which is usually in meme coins, at least we call it a scam candle, because that's when the insiders are loading up. And then the trading actually starts from this level. And we went all the way down from 5, and the bottom went 85% down, and we are still back then to the same level. Let's look at Uniswap for the project that, I don't know, do you even need introduction for Uniswap? Anyway, it trades all the way at the bottom where, like, post the FTX collapse, all of the crime that was happening in 2022, 2023, and we're trading at those levels as though Bitcoin is not at 110, as though we didn't have the Genius Act, we didn't have all of that legislation, Trump coming in and launching his own crime coin and rug pulling everyone together with his wife. All of that happened, and the price is so low at those levels, and they did so much innovations. They had the V3 on Uniswap. You're not only trading on Ethereum, you're also trading on Solana, they recently announced. All of those news, and we're trading very low, and that is why the fear and greed index is so low, because we're all the way at the bottom. And if you look at the fear and greed index, it's also in a way at its support line. It's been in this area only once before, in April and May 2025, and that's when all of the crypto was at its lowest. Let's look quickly at where Uniswap was in April, May this year. Look at this. This is where it was, April and May, right here. Wouldn't you like to collect on these amazing gains? That's 2x of your money. However, in trading, we have a concept of filling the wick, and we have this huge wick. We are looking at this chart. This chart is prices are pulled from Binance, and usually in trading, the wick's getting filled. That is very interesting if we going to fill this wick or not. On my opinion, we might go a little bit deeper into the wick, but not all the way, because of the events that happened October 10. And I think that is outside of it was a black swan event where the price went too low because of the technical issue on Binance side that triggered the cascade of liquidations. But I don't believe that we're filling the whole week all the way down. However, it just pulls the price so much lower because everyone sees that there are people who bought at these levels. Somewhere along this week, there were some purchases, there were some buys, and they want to exit and collect on their profit because they are doing scalping, they're doing swing trading. And that is why the week tends to get filled. It's because along the week, there are also some sell orders. And there are even some people who bought all the way at the bottom. And they also want to close their profits and get their profits in. And that's why the week gets filled, because we have those sell orders coming in. So going back to Bitcoin, we're trading in a range. Everything's so far is okay. We haven't broke out of the range. If we start going lower to 100K, below 100K, that's becomes worrisome. But even then, I personally don't think we are entering a bear market, because all of the institutional investors who loaded up along all of these levels, we have the DATs, the digital asset treasury companies. Those are the Michael Saylor's MicroStrategies. We have all the institutions, we have some states, not the federal government of the US, but the individual states buying Bitcoin and using it as their treasury. And they are just not gonna sell immediately if Bitcoin is at 95, at 94. They can afford be in the loss, because for them it's a long-term play. They're thinking long-term. They're hoping their estimations of Bitcoin price is over 1 million because of how far the Bitcoin, their plan of the horizon of planning is just decades and not years. So I don't believe that they're gonna jit out of their positions that fast just because Bitcoin is at the support level. Ethereum, same, still at the support line. We haven't left the area. The area that we drew on previous streams. Look at this. We just continue bouncing from the same level. The level is 3,800, and ETH cannot pierce it. It went during the October 10, again, big liquidations, the price drew below the support line, huge volume came in, but now volume just drying up because there are not enough bears who would be putting short positions with leverage because all of the open interest was wiped out from Hyperliquid, Binance, BitGet, from all of the major exchanges. And because of all of those speculators are out of the market, I believe that we're not going to have a lot of volatility because of that. Because there's just, people are so pessimistic right now, and they are not willing to, not only they're not willing to take bets, either long or short, but also they don't have the capital. Their accounts got wiped out. So I think that we're gonna range a little bit at these levels, and it will be not very eventful by the end of October. And then November, we're gonna be getting closer to FOMC meeting and the interest rates cut. And right now there are even speculations that we have 2 rate cuts, which would be, we need to look, and we'll be looking at prediction markets because the job growth data and inflation data will be coming in, and based on that FOMC will decide whether to cut twice or only once. Because if the economy is slowing down too fast, it was hot, that's why interest rates were high, we had inflation above 3%, the goal is below 2%, and if the economy is still pretty hot, we still have a huge job growth, not a lot of unemployment claims, then they might cut only once. So ETH is still in the range. However, we can see that in the past, ETH would stay 58 days. This one is even shorter. This one is 14 days. I'm measuring the length, how long the ETH stayed in the, so this one 16 days. This one is 58, 59. And right now we've been in this price action for 69 days, which is longer than previous. Let's see, this was probably the longest. We stayed here for 145 days. That's half a year. That's the most of the 2024. We stayed between 2,800 and 3,800. And right now it's possible if we stay as well for 140 days, that's put us at December 31st. And that's also, let's actually mark that. I would love to track this date, and we will put here, everyone was expecting alt season in Q4, and after October 10 there is no alt season is canceled. And for people to come back to rebuild their enthusiasm and become optimistic in altcoins and in crypto in general, it will take some time, and it's possible that it will take both the rest of October and November and first half of December. And then closer to the December, after all the holidays, when the markets are quiet, when the liquidity is thin, some institutional investor or some big funds will come in, or whales, and they maybe take some profits from Bitcoin, and they will put it in Ethereum or in other altcoins, and that will cause the market to go higher. This event is very likely, and it's possible, and that will pushes the prices higher. God knows for how higher, but at least out of this price range. Same, Solana is no different. We drew this box before. It went in here 183 and 190, and that's the current range where it's trading. It didn't held above the previous line, the previous resistance line that it touched 3 times. This one, the first, the second, the third, and then it broke out and everything was good, and then it bounced from the resistance, establishing it as a support. This was not a breakout, that was a fake breakout, because it went back into the range, and you can see how strongly, just in 2 candles it went back. So 1 candle is 1 trading day, so 1 day it pierces, and the second it comes back into the range, and then it stayed, and it still confirmed this as a support line. However, this wasn't a fake breakout. The October 10, we went down, and now it's back being a resistance line. The level is 200. So we are as well with Solana. We are at we're in the range. We're in the range, and it's not going lower, it seems. We're still undecided. These candles, you can see the last 3 days, they're undecided. It goes both up and down, very long wicks and very narrow body. That's basically, and it doesn't matter if it's green or red, because the bodies are still so narrow. And you can see that today was a big dump because volume was much higher, but we still didn't decide the direction we are going. So both bears and bulls, they held the same price level. And we wish that all that Solana profit goes into meme coins, because Solana was pumping it when it had this breakout from 190 to 150. I was closely looking at meme coins, at trenches, at the previous. We had this pump for 30%, and unfortunately none of those percents went into meme coins, into the trenches. All the previous the blue chips meme coins, so to speak, the dog with hat and other pump fund favorites like Neat and Spirit of Gambling and bunch of others, Knob, none of them pumped, unfortunately. So who knows where all that profit went and where people rotated those profits. But right now, again, we're at the support level and we're just in the range. We held this price, there is no long wicks. However, maybe if we open Solana on Binance, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have big wicks. Yeah, the wicks are bigger, but not as big. So on Binance, we wicked all the way to 169, and on Coinbase, 172. And that's the difference of what, only 3? Let's see Solana USD on Coinbase, not the USDT. Yeah, the wicks was 172. So it just shows you how more volatile things were on Binance. So that's TA for you. And let's go to the first news of today is Cobie, probably the biggest KOL. He's the top KOLs together with the Ansem. Ansem is more of a meme coins guy, but Cobie is just general altcoins. And you can see that having 800,000 subscribers on Twitter puts him at the basically top 5 influencers for crypto Twitter. And it's not only just 800 people, because there are other accounts with 1.2, I don't remember, there is one account with like 1.2 million, some of the original people, OGs of the space, but not all of them get the same engagement. Cobie just gets, he gets the impressions of his following, which is a good sign, which basically means he never tried to have some bots on his accounts. You can see his tweets get 1.7 mil impressions. It's even more than his followers. This tweet has 800,000. So it's a big established account. He's pseudo-anonymous, or maybe even not anonymous completely. Maybe his name is known, but he's public. He doesn't have an NFT on his profile pic. And he also had a podcast called Up Only. We're gonna talk about it later, but first let's talk about the company that he sold. So the company that he sold called Echo, and you can sign up for the company and become part of it. But what he did a smart thing. He wasn't just a KOL and just selling ads on his Twitter account. He gathered the top people from his following, about 10,000 people, the investors who are not only will be interested in what he's posting and bull posting, but also will be interested to invest together with him. And he arranged 29 deals in his company Echo, which is basically a syndicate. What are syndicates? It's basically you gathering people around and you pulling money together, and you start choosing companies where to invest. So the people you collect money from, those are so-called, you can call them like limited partners, LPs, and you, maybe one or two other people, you will be the GP, the general partner. The difference between one and the other is that GPs, they take the decisions where they're going to invest, whereas LPs, they only contribute money, and they don't have the say of where to invest. So Cobie built a company called Echo, which is just a crypto syndicate. And the amazing thing and difference, why is it the value proposition in Echo was, if you're trying to build a syndicate in regular markets, everyone participating in it, they have to be accredited investors, which in US, there is a specific rule set to be accredited investors. You need to have over 1 million in liquid money, excluding your place of residence. Because a lot of millionaires, if you look at the statistics in US, something like 90-80% of millionaires in US, the reason why they're millionaires is because of the houses where they live, because of the real estate. They bought houses, the boomers, they bought houses in 60s and 70s for $10 and some change, and now they cost 1 million because of the amount of money was printed by all of the administrations. And so to be a accredited investor, you shouldn't be one of those people. It shouldn't be one of the wealth is not your house. And it's pretty hard to comply with that rule. And that just excludes like 90% of the millionaires in US. But in crypto, no one cares. There is no KYC. As long as you can contribute money, you can participate. And you don't need to be in US. And that's why Cobie, out of his 800,000 people followers, he just gathered the top ones who are willing to put their money where their mouths are, or where the Cobie's mouth is at this case. And they funded 29 deals. And that was just in the span of 2 years. So Echo existed for 2 years. And they achieved return on investment was 8x. They pulled 110 million. Let's actually calculate. So 110, so roughly 11,000 per person in participants in Echo. So on average, it was 11,000. If we look at the median, that would be more correct. The averages are skewed, of course, because some people can throw $10, and I'm not sure what's the minimum to participate in his deals. But it's usually like you have 2-3 people who contribute millions, and then the rest contributes 5 cents. And but those are good numbers. 11,000 per person, funded 29 deals, and return on investment is 8x, which is way better than any hedge fund and regular average venture fund, because on average they all lose money. And what Coinbase, so who bought this company was Coinbase. They bought it for 375 million. Coinbase, they didn't just acquire this like his following, right? They basically acquired a hedge fund, an investment venture fund, not hedge fund, venture fund. So Coinbase have their Coinbase Ventures, and the Coinbase Ventures has the Base Ecosystem Fund, and Base Ecosystem Fund acquired Echo. And I'm not sure what's the track record of the Coinbase Ventures, but something tells me that the Echo's 8x is better than Coinbase's one. I don't know. I might be wrong. But that's just to tell you how the people who were behind this deal, what was their thinking, and how they saw the value in the Echo. And now there's probably some terms where Cobie has to work a part of Echo for at least 3 to 5 years, maybe 1 if he doesn't want to. But to get the whole money, it's probably like 3 to 5 years. He still needs to work to vest. So that's Echo, and we're probably gonna see more and more deals being funded by the Echo and this group of people, the 10,000 people. And you can also sign up with Echo on their Twitter. And an example of one of the deals that closed through Echo was Plasma, the project that raised a godly amount of money in just 15 or 20 seconds. And Plasma is a stablecoin chain. Specifically, it's the L1 that's built specifically for stablecoins. And they had this deal on their Echo fund, and you could have made 400x if you were early. But right now, it's already too late to jump there I'm pretty sure there will be an influx of people into the echo, and the deals are not going to be as good as before, because whenever you learn something in Twitter, in public space, that's the alpha is gone at this point. Usually that's exit liquidity. In this case, there was no exit liquidity. It's just the news of the selling of the company. But again, that's good thing for the markets in general, because all of that money, the 400 mil, now not all of the money, because again of the vesting schedule, he's not getting all of that, but he's gonna get at least 50 mil liquid, maybe another 50 mil in Coinbase shares, and then the other 300 he will get into he needs to vest that amount, but he can start deploying that capital already into companies as an angel investor, as his personal financing. Before, that was a syndicate, right? It wasn't his money, it was just the deals that coming in to him as a KOL on Twitter. But all of that money is gonna start coming into the trenches, into the altcoins and alt projects, which is great, because we need more of those purchases. Coinbase did something like 5 or 8 deals in total in 2025, which is very few, and I wish that there was more acquisitions and purchasing in crypto in general. The other interesting thing that happened with Cobie is not only he has this echo fund with the syndicate that I was just telling you about, but he also has a podcast called Up Only. This is the podcast. It's available on YouTube. It's available on Twitter, of course, and he has bigger numbers on Twitter. But just to give you perspective, this podcast has 60K subscribers and 80 videos, and on average the one episodes on YouTube gets something around 30K views, where they are taking interviews with different people, and the last episode was 2 years ago. So it was 2 years ago, and what Cobie did is he issued this NFT that said the owner of this NFT can have 8 episodes where we can trash talk about the owner if we decide to, but the owner gets 8 episodes of this podcast. And I think that was an interesting way how he structured this deal. And 375 for the echo plus, and he sold this podcast, these 8 episodes, for $25 million. So total, the whole package is 400 million. And I think he was very nice to his other partner. That was maybe the upsell, and his other partner in this podcast, his name is, anyway, there is another person, he's a co-founder in the podcast, and this is, see, they even have Vitalik 3 years ago. 3 years ago was 2022 when everything was crashing. But nice, Cobie is a good guy, because he structured his deal, helped out Ledger, and both of them got, I hope they got split 50-50, so Ledger got 12 mil for this deal. So that's okay, one more thing is, I just wanted to quickly, for those who, like, I mostly spend time in trenches, meme coins, so Cobie is just too big of an account, and I don't think I can find any alpha from his tweets. So I wasn't following him closely in 2020 and 2021 previous cycles, but just quickly, what his pedigree is that he actually came from his first project when he got involved with crypto was 2014. It's called memecoin, and that was one of the first celebrity coins for Max Kaiser. And after that, after they did that, unfortunately it collapsed. The project then collapsed months later. In today's terms, that's called rug pull. But he left crypto, and 19, since 2014 until basically 2020, he was outside of crypto. And then he did a little bit of Web 2, and in 2020 he came back into the DeFi boom, and that's when he was joined the Lido team and was one of the first contributors and co-founders in Lido Finance, and he made his first millions with the Lido token. And since then, after that he started the podcast and the YouTube show, where he had Vitalik, Michael Saylor, Doc One, and People and Shkreli, all of the media personalities, let's call them that way, who will definitely attract some clicks. Don't you think Dokwon will attract some clicks? People, of course. So we had the NFTs people and NFT crowd. So he did the podcast, he made the money on Lido, he did the podcast, grew his following, and then just 2 years ago, 2022, he started the Echo and been doing Echo since. And just in the last 2 years, they had Mega ETH, Initia, and Plasma. So all of them were very big TGEs, token generation events. And yeah, right now it's a success for Echo. And just on that wave up, he's selling the project, and that's how things should be done. With probably huge premium. I don't know how many X's. Well, the numbers are all there. 10,000 people, 110 million raised, and average 8x ROI, and purchase for 370 mil. So that's Cobie and everything you need to know. Add him to your lists. I personally have him in my big KOL list because I don't want to follow that closely and read it maybe every day, but whenever his tweets are blowing up, they will be on my other lists that I have and personally track. So that's Cobie. The second news today, and the big thing that's happening, is gold prices. Let's go into the gold price. And the short news is gold is correcting, of course, because remember that the writer of The Intelligent Investor, so Warren Buffett went to Columbia Business School. His favorite professor and teacher was the writer of Intelligent Investor. His last name is Graham, but what's his name? Benjamin Graham. Yeah. So Benjamin Graham said that it's either Benjamin Graham or Rockefeller. He was walking down the Wall Street and he went to polish his shoes, and he asked the polish shoes guy, what are you into, or something like that, and the polish shoe guy started giving him advice on stocks and which stocks to buy. And that's when this guy, I don't remember exactly who was it, Benjamin Graham or Rockefeller, he went back into the office and he immediately told everyone to sell everything, because if the shine polishing guy talks about stocks, that's the absolute pico top of the market. And I feel that we just witnessed the same thing happening with gold, when you could see on Twitter those images of people lining up to buy gold in stores across the world. I didn't see it happening in US, but I saw like in Singapore, there is a store where you can buy gold, and other places. And I honestly thought that now in 2025, when you see any images that claim any information, like, oh, look at this image of Palestine being bombed, or look at this image of this happening over there in this part of the world. In 2025, that is 99% chance it's AI. And I personally thought that there is no way someone's lining up to buy physical gold. Like, people are not that, I don't know, I wouldn't say dumb, but easily persuaded. And it's so risky to buy physical gold and store it because you can be robbed. Oh, that's maybe the reason why I didn't see it happening in US. Because in US, everyone would just be robbing them immediately after you don't even need to wait for them to buy the gold, you just can rob them. Well, if they probably not buying it for cash, but if they bought it on, well, probably those stores, they don't give you physical gold. There are definitely some mechanism there where you buy it, maybe like put money, and then they store it for you somehow. But that's the problem with gold, is that how you're gonna store it, how you're gonna secure it. In US, the easiest way to buy gold is Costco, and you can buy little gold bullions in Costco, but you're still gonna be self-custodying that gold. Self-custody is a fancy word for keeping it, and that's the way to buy it in US, through Costco. And when I saw these images on Twitter, and that's when we printed this double top, and now we're correcting. And so far, gold is down 5%, which is nothing for meme coins and altcoins world, but gold is not gold ain't a meme coin. even though there is a meme coin called gold. This is a real gold, and when it's corrects 5%, it sends clear signals. Of course, most of the institutional investors, countries, I believe India, US, Russia, one of the biggest countries with the biggest gold reserves, they're not worrying about it too much because they just experienced a 30% growth in price that never happened before. But just like we covered on previous streams, the price action for gold is diabolical. That's the place to use that word. It's really diabolical because it's just an explosion, the upward move. Look at that. We had this explosion in 1980. We had the explosion, and after that we have a correction down 60%, and we had the double top here as well. And it's possible that the same going to happen this time. We're gonna have a big pump, then a small dump. So from the big pump on the 80s back to the second top was 244 days. Let's see if we extrapolate that in today's situation and put 244 days. And one candle here is 1 month. So 244, that puts us to May 2026. So it's possible that that would be the price action, is that we peak right now, then we correct a little bit. Maybe we do a lot of, this candle is not closed, by the way, we're just experiencing small correction right now. But it's possible that we continue going higher up until Christmas. Then we start correcting. January we dump, February we flatten, and then back in April, put again, we said 240 days, right? So June 2026, and let's mark it. And put a note here. If follows 1980 gold pump. So this is possible price action for gold, unless, remember, you need to remember that it's denominated in dollars. And if this price is just gold catching up with the devalued dollar that's became just, the purchasing power deteriorated so much that gold is only catching up now, that's kind of like the bull case for gold, then of course we can go higher. But if the 1980s situation and events play out the same, we might have the double top in April, and from there will be a correction. The correction would be, let's just ballpark it, if the same 60% like last time, it puts us perfectly into previous resistance line. So this would be the resistance, and the correction, look at this, 55%, exactly to the resistance line. So that's my view on gold, not trading it, not touching it. I don't know anything about it, and therefore not touching it. Maybe only the gold meme coin. That's something that I would buy. Also, another thing is that Thread Guy is interviewing Peter Schmidt. He's the biggest influencer, he's the KOL for gold, and we have Thread Guy interviewing Peter Schmidt, and that's like another topish sign. We have the images of people lining up for gold. We have a Thread Guy interviewing Peter Schmidt. Like, Thread Guy has no business of interviewing that guy. Like, the Thread Guy's audience is, I don't know how much they're interested in gold, unless it's just speculators who just don't care what to buy and just buying all the tops and top blasting basically. Right now that would be the ultimate top blasting for gold. And also lighter, the perp DEX. So we have Hyperliquid, we have Aster, those are the biggest one. And if you haven't dig too deep into the perp DEXs, we also have Lighter and Drift. And Lighter launched gold perpetual contracts for gold. So you can gamble on gold now. All of those people, everyone who watched and got motivated by the Peter Schmidt, because he's the Michael Saylor for gold. So listening for Peter, if you got motivated and you want to speculate on gold now and maybe short it, who knows, maybe long it, I'm not taking any positions, then go to lighter and do that with the gold perps. So that's gold. And the last news for today that caught my attention was BYND. So what is BYND? It's the lab-grown meat. You may be heard, if you're in the US, you may be heard BYND burgers. It's a lab-grown meat, and it's a public company. So let's switch to 1 day chart, one candle, 1 day. And what happened with BYND is, even though the idea, lab-grown meat, to some it might be dumbest idea, but for people who just from the business side, it's a good idea because meat is very expensive to grow, requires a lot of water, and cows supposedly contributing one of the most contributors to the ozone holes in our atmosphere because of the amount of, there is this thing about cows just farting a lot, and because there are so many of them and we need to grow so much cows these days to feed the population that they are just farting too much, and that creates CO2 in the atmosphere. So that's why the narrative of lab-grown meat was a big one, and we have BYND Burger, and we have another company that's also lab-grown meat. It's slips my mind right now. Even though the idea is understandable, and people, it would be, if it's cheaper to do the BYND meat, why not to grow it in the lab compared to just compose those proteins in a way that it's meat proteins just in the lab and just feed the population, right? Like just low quality meat basically. But the prices for BYND meat is actually the same, if not more, compared to the other regular patties, the beef ones. Just like if you noticed, if you go to a bar and you want to order non-alcoholic cocktail, sometimes they cost more money than regular cocktails. Regular cocktail might cost $15, $20 in New York and big cities. And then you go and you try to get non-alcoholic one, and it's just, there's not even alcohol in it. And it will cost the same amount of money, which is a complete ripoff for those who don't drink. And BYND Burger was doing the same, just charging more money. So basically, my point is that their idea was great, but their implementation was terrible because they never built a business on that idea. And let's open their financial statements just to show you why BYND Meat was almost delisted from the exchange. So this is their growth and profitability. You can see from this chart performance how their revenue it went up, but they always had negative net income, which means that they had their spendings were higher than their revenue that they were bringing in from their sales. And you can see that's the bar, the turquoise bar, net income. In 2021 it was negative $180 million, and then the next year it was already twice of that, 366, and in 2023 it was 338 million. And all of those expenses grew while the revenue was not increasing in price. And they went from 460 to 418 to 340. And in 2024, last year, they closed the year with 320 revenue, and the income is only 160, which basically they're just losing money. They're losing money. They never were able to turn their business around. And that was reflected on their price. You can see that since 2024 the price collapsed from, it went as high as 220 when the idea of BYND Meat, of the lab-grown meat was popping, and everyone was sitting in houses, and COVID lockdowns, and everyone was so cautious of what they're eating, the environment, and all of that. There was a good meta and time to launch the company. So BYND, what was the other one? I keep thinking, it's like in the back of my mind. But yeah, their price collapsed 98% from $200 to right now $4. And everyone was very negative. You can see how it's just gradually going down and lower and lower. 2024 it was in the range, broke that range in 2025, October, November. Maybe that's the Trump effect actually. Like Trump gets elected in November and we broke out in November right here. And everyone's like, okay, Republicans now in power, so no one is gonna eat lab-grown meat. Everyone's gonna eat real meat now. Price went down from $5 all the way to 6 cents, 30 cents, 61 cents. That's how low it went. And naturally, hedge funds and other market participants, those who don't want to go into crypto but still want to speculate, they were shorting the stock, the BYND stock. And that's the result why the price went down. The stock is still not unlisted from the exchange, but the hedge funds were betting on the unlisting and they shorted it. And now now we have WallStreetBets, the Reddit community, come into the picture because they became known again in the pandemic time with their short squeeze of GameStop. And they basically piled up, made a lot of longs, and that caused the short squeeze of the stock. And because of so many shorts placed on the stock, you can see where the not the liquidation, but where the short is basically stop losses for those shorts. And you can see that information. They saw it. They needed to push the price just a little bit to trigger this cascade of short squeezes, and they achieved that just because of they already did it in the past, and that caused the price to jump from the 60 cents it was just in the beginning of the week to $4. And that's, if we take the lowest moment to the highest, that's 7x. So someone made 7x on this short squeeze thanks to WallStreetBets community. And since we here talk a lot about meme coins, and we're gonna trench a little bit later after we're done with this news, not only the stock increased, but because because of BYND was all over news, we also had a meme coin BYND appear, and it's appeared on 20th, yesterday. And right now it's trading at 1.4, and it went as high as 2.6 million. And I was thinking, why would you buy the meme coin if you have the stock? If you want to make money, why don't participate in that short squeeze made by WallStreetBets? And first I thought maybe people who gamble on the meme coin are everyone outside of the United States who don't have access to the US brokerages and they cannot participate in US markets. But then meme coins, it's all about attention. BYND was in the news, and if you made money on the WallStreetBets short squeeze, and you know that BYND is on the news, you imagine you were participating in WallStreetBets subreddit, you know that this short squeeze is happening, and that is the great opportunity for you to capitalize on the upcoming news about the BYND. Because if the short squeeze is successful, BYND going to be on the news, and anything that you can predict that will be on the news, the meme coins will be exploding. And that's what they did. You made money on the short squeeze. You can also gamble on the meme coin, and I'm pretty sure some people did that, and hopefully they took some money out and they're positive now. But so far there are 3,300 wallets who are holding the BYND stock, and since the short squeeze was successful, this is definitely the time to exit. There is no community behind BYND, and unless there is community formed around it, but I don't see it as a meme. It's not a meme. Even though it's a meme stock, maybe you can put it in that bucket, but I don't see anyone pushing this narrative after 1 week. So I call it a topper at 2 mil. So that was news. We have the gold, we have the Echo sell for 400 mil, liquid exit for Cobie and BYND. And now let's trench a little bit.